benefit of being rested is the Knicks, but that's why I like the Knicks here. I like the Spurs in the first half against the Knicks. I think there's rust. For the game, 4.5 points. I know it's square. I know it's popular. I know everyone's saying bet the Knicks. I just think in game one, the history, which did not help Carolina last night, but the history tells you that game one, teams at home, when they're favored, when they have less rest, meaning they've been playing and their opponent has not, really benefits. And the numbers, 18-3 ATS is a big number for the last 21 times. We've seen a situation just like this. Less rest, a NBA Finals at home, and a short number, under 10. It's been great betting on the home favorite. And I think that plays out here tonight. I think your home favorite gets a W tonight. Spurs take game one. Now, if I'm right, and I have a 15-1 ticket on the Spurs to win it all, I will be jumping heavily on the Knicks after game one, because I think we'll go from plus 170, somewhere in that range, to like $2, $2.50 on the Knicks. And once that happens, then I can really jump in and I can bet 3 or 4 units on the Knicks and sit back and know that I'm going to make, 10 units, 8 units, and I'm good. And I don't care who wins the championship. So that's how I'm playing it. I am taking a position tonight in the first half with San Antonio, and for the game laying 4.5. But as this number starts to come down, we're seeing more and more money come in here on the New York Knicks. For the series, for the game, Johnny Avello of DraftKings is predicting this is going to be one of the most heavily bet NBA finals of all time. Is that true? Is that just a DraftKings thing, or is this for more people as well? Well, let's find out. Where in the world's our guy, Adam Bjorn? This is a first, my friend. You're wearing a hat. We've never seen you wear a hat on PTO before. Oh. How are you?
I'm good. I actually washed my hair last night, and sometimes it just gets too wild, and I just grabbed one off. I think I actually grabbed a Sport Trade one. I've got a whole line of them up here.
I have that hat. I have that same hat. That's funny.
I am in Michigan right now. I got to tell you, Major League Pickleball, it's coming. It was so much fun. It was way better than I ever expected. It was, it was like table tennis, cross tennis with rowdy people and loud and whatnot. So, a lot better than I expected. It was very interesting. I'm already lining up to get access to one of the other events along the way once there's some available time. But yeah, a lot of fun.
Wow. How about that? I did not expect that to start the conversation with pickleball again. But okay, let me put something up on the screen now, and I want to read it to you because this is from the Athletics article today about the betting for the NBA Finals. And it's quoting a trader from FanDuel, it's quoting a trader from Caesars, and it's quoting a trader, Johnny Avello, from DraftKings, all talking about how heavily, what the liability is here on the Knicks. And the Spurs equally have a big liability, but it's all Knick money coming in tonight. It's all Knick money coming in for the series. Are you seeing the same thing at Betcris, Arizona, where everyone's just betting on the Knicks?
Yes and no. So we have no exposure on any of these teams to win it outright or anything. With both of them, Spurs is a better result. But on the game, 100% Knicks side. It's close to 80% of the money is on the Knicks at the spread. A little bit flipped on the money line. About 62% of the money line there on a 66, 68 percent favorite. But on the series, it's getting a little closer. It was heavy Spurs early on. It's probably about 58% Spurs now. However, we're looking at 80% of master money is on the Knicks for the series there as well. So, unusual. We're going to be cheering the home team in game one.
Well, we'll get to the hockey in a second, but that's where you guys were last night. with cheering on the team you didn't think you were going to have to cheer. But what are you seeing anything in the first half? Because that's what I'm on. And I think that's going to be a popular play for certain people coming in with this layoff for the Knicks being so long. Anything in the first half? Any different types of wagers than what you've normally seen?
Not really. I mean, it's nine. I mean, yes, because in a sense it's flipped. We're over 90% Spurs first half.
Okay.
So very much different than the game, which that might be it. Is people thinking Spurs still hot, still going, get out quick, and then, Knicks will run them down later on, I guess.
Yeah, and come back and either cover or win the game coming up outright. Do you anticipate seeing action on the series as the games go? Like, how do your players normally approach an NBA Finals? Is it all game by game, or do you see some larger wagers come in as the series progresses?
Generally, you get, I think 85% of it before the series starts, especially on the recreational side. And I even noticed so far these playoffs on both sports, hockey and basketball, that the chart really doesn't change too much once you get past game one.
So last night, I have my alert set for when you go live. So you go live, boom, you pop up. I'm already on the Golden Knights, so I'm like, okay, I was going against the world. I liked Vegas. You come on and you're like, the book needs Vegas. Everyone's on Carolina. It's 90% money on Carolina. And I was like, I'm good. I'm on the right side. I'm good. How big of an outcome was that for you guys last night with Vegas taking game one?
Yeah, for a hockey game, it was a good night. And it sets up as well. I'd said to the series was a day to play. Masters were on the Knights. Rex were on the Canadians. So we have a head start on that position as well. But yeah, that was a good way to start the series.
And this is what's fun about watching you, because after you talked about the game, you talked about the series, and you said what's weird is that everyone's on Carolina, but everyone's taking Vegas to win the series. And I thought, well, if I'm right and Vegas wins game one, well, my plus 135 ticket is gonzo. Like we're not getting a price like that after game one if Vegas wins. So I jumped on Vegas to win the series as well as Vegas winning game one after what you said. Have you seen any extra Vegas money coming in since game one?
No, the chart looks exactly like it did before game one as it does after right now. And as I said, just it doesn't change a lot. So I expect this to kind of hold up. There's a sort of years of variance of what's a game worth, how many games left, home. I think there's enough, even bookmakers have a model out there that they can plug in who won game one, and that sort of computes ballpark. So you've got to be really bad, I think, to get outside of the range. The only time you may get it is if there's an injury or someone, and people are quick to update their games and then forget about the series or the correct results and something like that. But this one's pretty much almost identical to what it was before game one.
What happens if Vegas wins game two? What does the number go to if Vegas comes back to Vegas in game three with a 2-0 advantage?
I'm guessing that's around 3.5, 4-1 is where the next step goes after that.
Okay. So heavy favorites for a big dog for Carolina. Do you anticipate that if the number gets a little bit further, that you might see some hurricane money come in, that folks might start taking Carolina?
Again, it really depends on what they're feeling like the home, when it comes to hockey, home ice, how much is it really worth, versus the NBA and stuff like that.
Yeah.
20 years ago, this was one of my bigger plays was couldn't wait till NHL playoffs come around and bet every dog in the series before, because you usually you could either come out up 2-0 or 1-1. And if you were down 2-0, it wasn't a horrible position on a, 2.5 to 1 shot in the series. Because often they'd win that third game, you'd be back to 2-1 down, 1-2, and there was opportunities there. It's really if it's more of making a price where, and Hurricanes are now 160 on the road. I guess that's almost going to be 130 favorite nights in game one at home. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But right now, just go another 4-0, wipe it out, or maybe 4-1. 4-2 if we want to get more games out of it or whatnot. But yeah, right. The series is a good thing to collect right now.
So game 1 was all Carolina. Is game 2 going to be all Carolina as well? Are you guys going to need the Knights in game 2?
I would almost guarantee that we're going to need the Knights in 2. The only variance that I imagine will be, I don't expect to see the master money on the Knights in game 2 at all. I think this is, they take their shots in game 1. Game 2 is kind of, okay, we collected, now it's that home team needs to win it more than not. Price is fair. If anything, they'd probably come on the Hurricanes at minus 155, 150 in that spot, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think I might too. I think that's probably going to be the side with the Hurricanes at home with their backs against the wall in game 2 of the series. So you had to remind me of this, and so I'm assuming we haven't seen much in terms of either your handicapping or how much money's come in, but the Belmont Stakes is getting run this coming weekend here. It's at Saratoga, so it's not at the Belmont. They're still trying to fix the track. That will be back next year, so it's a different run for the Belmont Stakes, but Golden Tempo is in the field. There are 9 horses in the field. Renegade is in the field. Renegade's the favorite here on a Wednesday morning. We'll get to the weekend, but any initial thoughts or handicaps for you coming up for the Belmont?
Yeah, I don't think they'll let Golden Tempo do that again. I do not expect him to win. I thought he'd be closer to 8-1, but again, it's a short field, whatnot. I watched all the races for all these horses last night, and the one that jumps out to me, and I'm very disappointed that the Morning Lane guy got this pretty good odds setup, is Chief Wallaby. He's still 3-1's a short price. But looking at all the horses, I think him and Renegade are the 2 clear best horses in the race. Maybe Commandment, some value. I bet Emerging Market because I got a stupid price with a Jamaican bookie. So I am on that one. I don't really like the bet, but the odds are okay. But yeah, right now I think Chief Wallaby, watching his Derby run, was exceptional. Renegade, as I've stated before, was probably the best horse in the race, but maybe Chief Wallaby just as close to him. Yeah, I'd love to see Golden Tempo win, but I don't think he does here.
How does the handicap change for you, given that it's not in New York, it's not at Belmont, it's in Saratoga, that the track is different for this race and what it normally is? Is there a different handicap because of the length of the race is different?
Length of the race has been completely different. I've loved the Belmont 1.5 miles. There's very few horses, very few strategies that, I go into that each year going, all right, I'm locked in. I know this is what I want. Finding some big odds runners. I love the 1.5 miles because it's really not run that much in the US. So those brings more opportunities. This one, it's almost a run back of the Derby, 1.25 miles. So that's where you sort of got those horses coming back, the new ones coming in, obviously just, filling it up for the most part. But yeah, this is a lot more of a how the Derby was run kind of race to what this is. Whereas when it is 1.5 miles, and we'll go back to that next year, I'm looking at horses, and this is kind of the fallible state of my gambling, is I like horses that make that run at the end, a bit like Golden Tempo in the Derby. But it's actually finding horses that are more on the pace that can run the 1.5 miles. And there's so many that can't. Like most of these horses are 3-year-olds. They just don't have it in them, which is kind of good because there's a lot of them that can't, so they're kind of together. But there's usually a 1 or 2 that you just, through their breeding, through their running style, you just know they're going to be at the end of that 1.5 miles. And so, yeah, to me, I'm looking forward to next year. I want to get back to the 1.5 miles. This is just another 1.25 miles. But yeah, this should be a cracking race on Saturday.
Only 9 horses for this length of a track. That's a lot of space for these horses to maneuver. Does that benefit? I mean, you mentioned they're not going to let Golden Tempo do it again, but does that benefit any of the horses in the field that we only have 9 horses running?
All of them. But definitely Renegade ran into a lot of problems in the Derby in 20 horses. Chief Wallaby, watching it back again, ran into plenty of problems. It just means that generally the better horse will win. And all these horses should be pretty much running similar trips to they have in previous races. It'll give them space. There'll be, there is a couple of speed runners, but not speed like there was in the Derby. So I expect Chief Wallaby, Renegade to be sort of sitting 3rd, 4th, Golden Tempo dead last, Commandment somewhere in between those 2 worlds. And then it's really going to be how it sets up at the end and who times it the best.
All right, the World Cup is right around the corner. June 11th is the start. I think folks are waking up and going, "Oh, right, it's June 3rd. When's the World Cup? Oh my, it's right around the corner for us here for it to get going with the games in Canada, America, and in Mexico." What are you seeing from a liability standpoint? Most books that I'm seeing are reporting obviously heavy tickets on the Americans, heavy tickets for heavy money on the Americans. Just as a direct player comes in and bets go USA, you're seeing the same thing.
Yeah, and different to last week when I looked at the charts last night, sort of prepping and doing some work. The volume's starting to come in on the games. Definitely seeing an uptick in that. Bets on the futures and all those kind of things. But yeah, exposure's pretty much the same. Spain heavy, France heavier, Portugal super heavy, and then the USA. Actually, the amount of outright volume that's come in since we had this conversation a week ago is probably doubled than what it had got in the previous whatever years that it was up. So I think they're coming alive. People are starting to look at it, get interested, and and I think probably next Wednesday we'll look to do this again because we've got a US Open, World Cup starting. I think we should be rocking and rolling and everybody getting into it. And then obviously starting with, I think it's Mexico day 1, USA day 2. Then you have all the home teams sort of entrenched and engaged.
You have talked about this year of 26 for a while, and now we're here into the month of June. We finally arrived. We have the Stanley Cup final, the NBA finals. It's going game 1 last night, game 1 tonight. They're going to alternate games all the way through next week. Then we've got the Belmont Stakes coming up this weekend. We've got the World Cup starting next week. Do you think this is going to be, I mentioned it during the opening line, talking about Johnny Avello saying this NBA finals might be the biggest, most heavily bet finals in history at DraftKings. What's June looking like for you guys here, whether it be Prime or whether it be at Betcris, here in America or globally? This feels like a monster month, no?
Yeah, I mean, you just laid in the convergence, and then we have US Open golf next week, and it's just it's all kind of just coming to sort of the precipice and explode all at once. And I think the engagement across the board, and the NBA finals this year seems like, well, everyone I spoke to coming up, they'll get to the finals, West will win, West will win, West will win.
Yep.
Now it's suddenly, okay, this is a matchup. The Knicks have someone that can potentially tie down the Spurs star and stuff like that. So it's sort of fallen into potentially, with so many eyeballs on the sports books, so many sports happening. If you're a hockey guy, you got basketball and golf and soccer. If you're a soccer guy, suddenly there's golf, and there's a lot on. And yeah, this is what we've kind of been building to, drumming to. We're on the last steps of the sort of bankruptcy sort of takeover. Hopefully happens in, again, I keep saying the next 24, 48 hours for about 3 weeks. That's going to ding us in one spot, help us in another. So depending how it all plays out, as I'm looking at these game charts, I'm thinking, okay, they're coming alive. It's going to happen. We just need the results to fall then. If every favorite comes in and wins, disaster. But it also goes back to, and maybe last night was the beginning of it, is watching these results. And I've said, come, Q2, Q3 reports out of DraftKings, FanDuel and whatnot, I'm sure all the books won last night. Spurs win tonight. Maybe there's a roll going, and, come those 3/4 reports, everyone's singing how great of a summer this was, when summer's usually dead on this side of the world.
Yeah, and it's not going to be dead by any stretch. I'll get you out of here on this. You mentioned last week that you were eyeballing Mexico. I've seen more people start talking about not just the Team USA versus Team Mexico, with Mexico going farther, but I've seen people come in and say, look, Mexico's alive to make a run here in this tournament because of the fact they're playing in their home country and they've got a lot of support where they're going to go play. How have you bet Mexico, and how do you feel about Team Mexico going into this thing?
So I have backed Mexico to win it, semifinals, quarterfinals, a few other things. I didn't bet Mexico versus USA. I went and did my homework after last week.
Okay.
And I'll still probably end up on it. But while this sort of Mexico should get through the group, USA should win the group. The group's a little tougher, I think, for the USA than Mexico. However, once you get through that to the round of 32, USA will have a much easier game than Mexico. And then the idea or expectation is they both get to round of 16, where Mexico may meet a Brazil, and USA, I think, again, it's a softer team. It's not something heavier. So the goal of betting that would be that you think that USA get caught early, and maybe in the round of 32 or the groups get knocked out. If you get to the round of 16, USA suddenly have the advantage with who they could potentially match up there. So it wasn't, that's why when you look at something and it looks too good to be true, go do the homework, check it out. And as it was laid out, I was like, okay, the odds make sense. I still think it's a little shorter, but when I first saw it, I thought minus 250. And then when I went and did the work, I thought, maybe it's 140, 150, 160. And I don't think it's going to shorten up quickly anywhere.
Do you think Team USA in 1994, Team USA made the final 8? That's the farthest it's ever gone. Are you thinking that Team USA makes a run? Have you changed your tune dramatically that the Americans might actually make a run?
No, don't get too excited. I still hope that they get through the group. I hope that they, maybe get to the 16. I don't see them going any deeper than that. But yeah, no. All
right, my friend, enjoy the pickleball. Should be a lot of fun. We'll get you next Wednesday as we'll start a huge weekend with the World Cup starting and obviously the U.S. Open, everything else happening here for Father's Day weekend next week. Thanks for joining us, my friend. We'll talk soon, all right?
Cheers. Thanks.
Adam Bjorn joins us each and every week here on Pushing the Odds. Great to get him on the program in America. He's in Michigan for this coming week. How about that? Let's continue talking about hockey and what happened last night. Well, I tell you what, if you didn't have fun watching that hockey game, you don't like hockey because that game was unbelievable. Vegas goes down 1-0 in 25 seconds, the third fastest goal ever scored in a Stanley Cup final. Game 1, 1-0. After the first 10 minutes, it's 2-0 Carolina, and that barn is electric. Carter Hart has a weird, I don't know why. This guy likes to give the opponent a lead. And then the guy turns into a relative wall. Now, he gave up 4 goals, so it wasn't like he was a wall, but he gave up 2 goals in the first period, in the first 10 minutes, and then didn't give up more than 2 goals the rest of the entire game. Vegas scored on a deflection to make it 2-1 after the first period. And I was in our Discord channel. And if you guys aren't part of our Discord channel, definitely go pushingtheodds.com. There's a link to get to our Discord channel. It's free. There, I reminded everybody that the second period for the Vegas Golden Knights has been the period for them in these playoffs. They own the second period. What did they do? They scored 2 goals. They gave up 1. It was 3-3 as we went into the third period. Vegas scores 4-3. Carolina scores. It's 4-4. They got kind of burned on that. I mean, you could say it was tit for tat because of what happened in the Anaheim series with that icing call that really pissed off Anaheim that Vegas scored on. Well, Vegas was really pissed off about the icing call. Then Carolina scored off of the icing call as right off the face-off. So that was sort of like a shot. I mean, Vegas has been offensively, Vegas has been just awesome. Just absolutely awesome in the second and third periods. I mean, it's been fun. It's been really fun to watch this Vegas Golden Knights team, and they took game 1, and now Vegas is favored to win the Stanley Cup. That's why, as I said, I did that with Adam, where I came in and said, hey, watching Adam do those live streams right before the game on his Twitter at Adam Bjorn, when he came on and said that the master money is heavy on Vegas to win the series, I went, okay, well, look if Vegas wins game 1, they won game 1, I bet game 1, and they've won 3 previous. If they win, Vegas is going to be a monster favorite. They're minus 150 to win the series now. And you get plus 130, 135 on Carolina on the comeback. Well, now you have an opportunity. If Vegas wins game 3, I'll have a pretty good chance of taking Carolina for some decent money, plus 170, plus 175, somewhere in that range. So I'm on the Vegas Golden Knights at plus 130, and now I'm going to come back and take Carolina at some point later, or just ride the Golden Knights, because I think the Golden Knights have a really good shot at winning the Stanley Cup and shutting everybody up about this team, that they weren't that good, that they weren't going to be able to do what they did. I mean, this is ridiculous. Road teams that trailed by multiple goals at any point in game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals were 0-55 before last night. 0-55. Vegas made it 1-55 as Vegas becomes the first road team ever to stage a multi-goal comeback win in game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. They gave up 2 goals very fast. They gave up, it was a blink, and it was 1-0. And I actually wasn't upset about that. When that happened and they gave up the first, I was like, you know what? It's like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, they scored so fast that, like, okay, the barn was crazy and Vegas looked nervous. And then they gave up the second one, and I was like, uh-oh. And I said, when it was 2-1, I said, whoever scores the next goal wins. And Vegas scored the next goal. They tied it up 2-2. And I thought, you know what? This team is so much better than the Canadiens. This team's offense is so much more explosive than what Montreal presented, that they know how to score, and they're going to score, because Carolina did what Vegas did in the first period. Carolina did it in the second and third periods, just turnovers. Vegas was so sloppy with the puck in the first period, and then they stopped doing that. They just buttoned up. And on the flip side, Carolina started to be incredibly sloppy with the puck, and they just gave away the puck over and over again, and they allowed Vegas to have numerous high-danger chances. Again, we talked about it yesterday. The Vegas Golden Knights lead all teams in high-danger chances in the playoffs. This is not the Montreal Canadiens. This is a team with 3 lines, and you gave plus money on Carolina, and everybody on the Golden Knights in game 1, and everybody bet Carolina like the game was already played. Vegas is better than people think, and Vegas continues to be hated. This is a guy who covers the Buffalo Bills. He covers the Buffalo Bills. The NHL completely ruined the league with expansion teams. Hurricanes and Golden Knights, 2 teams whose history began in 1997 and 2017, have made 6 Stanley Cup Finals with 2 wins between them, another coming this year. The league has failed its traditional franchises. Or maybe the Buffalo Sabres suck. Maybe that's just it. Like, what are you talking about? It's hysterical for a Bills writer to write that. That's hysterical. That's a media member. That's not some fan. That's a media member covering the NFL who then is now chucking shade at Carolina, who's been in this league for a long time, by the way. They're not an expansion team. Carolina's been a part of this league forever. They're the former Hartford Whalers, for God's sakes. Okay? What are we talking about? The Golden Knights, they're the baby. They've been around for 9 years. But because your franchise cannot figure out how to develop and keep superstars, Jack Eichel was yours, you clown. Like, what are you talking about? Jack Eichel has won a cup with Vegas. Couldn't do it with Buffalo. Jack Eichel is playing in his second cup with Vegas. What are you talking about? How in the world do these people think this is a good idea? On the big screen, they put up a sign that said, Vegas, everybody hates you. In the arena. Like, what? Everybody hates you. Can somebody please remind me why the Carolina Hurricanes, why they're the good guys? Why are the Hurricanes the good guys here and the Vegas Golden Knights are the bad guys? I don't understand. Just don't. The Golden Knights are a likable team. Mitch Marner is a likable team, is a likable guy. His story is awesome. Jack Eichel's story is awesome. Carter Hart's story is not awesome. I'll give you that. It's awful. But Tortorella is trying to become 20 years between cup wins for a head coach. 20 years. The biggest gap in the history of the NHL between cup wins for a coach. Yeah, he's a dink. Who cares? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it at all on this. Don't get it at all. Media members for Buffalo needs to just stay down. Like, this doesn't involve you. No need to get involved. It's a bad look. It's a bad look for you to jump in with that and talking trash about Las Vegas and Carolina, or Vegas and Carolina. Let's talk the trend center, trend of the day. All right, missed it yesterday. Obviously, they were big on Carolina, like everybody else is on Carolina, but I went against it yesterday, and they had a baseball play with the Rays who got smacked yesterday. So the Jack Flaherty trend ended with a bang, 8-0 thrashing that the Tigers gave at the hand of the Rays. But we got a good one for here today that I am trailing today. If you want to go and check out everything that is being offered by the Trend Center app, you can download it in the Google Play or Apple Play Store. I know a lot of you guys in the brigade have been doing this and been profitable doing it. You get 40% off your first 3-month subscription, any of them, 40% off when you use the code PTO to sign up with the Trend Center app. Download it in the Google Play or Apple Store today. What's the trend? Christopher Sanchez. This guy's been money at home against the Padres today. 24-5 on the money line, 82%. That's a 30% ROI. The number has crept up a little bit from the 185. It's like $195, $2 right now for what we're seeing here on this. But Christopher Sanchez is one of the shortest of odds to win the Cy Young for a reason. I'm going to go a little farther personally. I'm actually going to jump in and I'm going to take the run line because he's been very profitable on the run line. 4 of the last 5 games that he has won have been done on the run line for Christopher Sanchez. So if you like him on the money line today, which is a good bet, a little expensive, but you can bet money line Phillies, bet run line Phillies too, or split it, half a unit on each. And I think you're going to be happy. I like Sanchez today. I like the Phillies today at home with him pitching against the Padres. That is your Trend Center trend of the day. I like it a lot here for the Phillies. We have a new segment to bring to you guys, and I will do a fun little stinger like we always do in the future, but it's the Pro Football News of the Day presented by our friends at the Vegas Football Proxy. If you guys don't know, our official proxy service for this upcoming football season is our guy, Tom Carroll, and VegasFootballProxy.com. He will join us every Friday all the way through. He's still in China at the moment, but once he comes back to the States next week, Tom will start jumping in with us, talking football, talking about the contests, Circa Million, Circa Survivor, the Grandissimo, the Westgate Super Contest. Tom has got you covered. The best place to go to contact Tom is to go to his website, VegasFootballProxy.com. Set up the appointment, come on in, and let the premier football proxy service in Las Vegas take care of you for this upcoming football season. VegasFootballProxy.com. This is real. Aaron Donald keeps sounding like a player who's going to play this season for the Rams. This has been now Pat McAfee and others who are getting text messages from Aaron Donald that said, quote, I am for sure flirting with the idea. Hell of an opportunity with the Super Bowl in SoFi this year. If I can find the fire, it's a possibility. The head coach of the Rams said, if Aaron Donald is interested, we are interested in anything and everything to do with Aaron Donald at the age of 35. I mean, you don't say this unless you are serious about coming back. You don't hint. You leave the door open, or at least a crack to close it if you have to, if you were to get hurt or you start training and something bad happens or a family member has an issue. There has to be another reason why Aaron Donald is not going to come back at this point. I would put it at 75% that Aaron Donald is going to play this year for the Rams. What does he have left in the tank? I don't care. It's Aaron Donald. If he plays every third down and that's it, it's Aaron Donald. You put him on the field. And with Myles Garrett, you're going to get Aaron Donald and Myles Garrett. Are you kidding me? I mean, that is ridiculous. Like, for anybody in the NFL, how in the world could you not be jumping up and down? How could you not be like, look, I know everybody in the NFC is like, oh God, but anybody else who's a football fan, you have to want to see this. Like this would be fun. I hate the Rams. Okay. But this guy is an unbelievable human being. He's an unbelievable football player, but getting his leadership in that locker room, you have Matthew Stafford, Aaron Donald, Myles Garrett, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams. What? On the same, I mean, all of a sudden, that's a good analogy. Like, that's true. That's true. They are built like the Dodgers, except they've done it in the salary cap era and nobody is deferring $700 million. Like, this is an awesome story for the NFL. It's an awesome story for the Rams. Unreal. Like, just absolutely unreal that Aaron Donald is legitimately going to play football in 2026 with the Rams. How long? How many snaps? Who cares? It's Aaron freaking Donald to play with the Rams. Could it be Patriot Rams? I don't know. Bengals Rams? Possible. How about the Bengals being like this sleeping dog at the moment that nobody's talking about all that much as to what they might look like coming up next season if they can keep Joe Burrow healthy? The AFC all of a sudden has become very shaky. It's become very, very shaky. Steelers, big questions. Ravens, big questions. Bills, big questions. These are all brand new head coaches. We have no idea what is going to happen with three of the perennial powers of the AFC, all with new head coaches going into this season. The Chargers are still the Chargers. So, like, I mean, in Boston, they're arguing who the best team in the AFC is, and they're saying the Patriots. I still think Denver, when healthy, is the best team in the AFC, but it's shaping up to be like Denver and New England on a collision course, like Spurs Thunder in the AFC Championship game, and who gets to host it. Like, the regular season becomes all about who's going to host the AFC Championship game, because the Jets are a garbage dump. The Dolphins are a dumpster fire. The Bills, as I said, are good, but there are real questions about what Buffalo is going to look like this year. I mean, this is a big transitional year for this Bills franchise to not have Sean McDermott. So we don't know what to make of the new coaching staff. We'll see. It's still Josh Allen, I'll give you that, but we don't know. And then after that, Chargers, the Chiefs, everyone's talking about Mahomes looking great. Okay, but the rest of the roster is still a problem. Like, even if Mahomes wasn't coming off of an ACL injury, there's still big concerns. You have a geriatric Travis Kelce. Like, it's still an issue. You've got players getting arrested and having problems. Like, this is, even if Mahomes was healthy, the Chiefs would still be behind the Patriots and the Broncos, in my mind. And maybe even the Chargers, for that matter, as well. So, AFC is a very interesting picture. The Bengals... the Bengals are right there. The Bengals could very well be at SoFi, and it could be a rematch. The last time we were at SoFi for the Super Bowl was Bengals-Rams. Could it be Bengals-Rams again? Very, very possible. I called that Super Bowl, by the way. I called that exact final score. It's one of the best predictions of my career on the actual final score. Rams and the Bengals, calling that game correct. Let's jump down the rabbit hole. We were talking soccer earlier. Look, the ratings for the Champions League, I watched it. Record ratings. Are people psyched for soccer in America? It kind of feels like it. Look, if you got somebody in your friend group that is like a diehard American, like go, you could take advantage here with Rabbit. I mean, there are you could set some crazy numbers up for people and they may jump on it for Team USA. Okay. I'm not saying being anti-patriotic or anything, but like there's going to be a lot of people making donations to sports books that can make the donation to you depending on the price you want to give somebody for Team USA. At Rabbits, you're going to set the limit, you're going to set the line, you're going to set the odds. You're not going to get kicked out, you're not going to get banned for any of that. And there's a real person you're going to play up against here for the World Cup as we get into it coming up on June the 11th. That is next Thursday. Create and share custom sports picks with Rabbit. Challenge your friends, not the house. Download the app on the Google Play or the Apple Store today. As I mentioned, I watched Arsenal against PSG. Whoever is teaching Arsenal how to kick PKs should be fired. I don't know how or in what league stopping your momentum. I mean, I'm 49. I was taught for a very long time about taking penalty kicks. You do not stop your momentum. 2 different Arsenal players stopped their momentum and they missed the net because it throws your rhythm off. I get it. You're trying to confuse the goaltender, but you can confuse yourself just as easily. And both the PK takers for Arsenal did that, and PSG wins their back-to-back second straight Champions League final. Huge numbers in America for that. I watched it. I mean, there was nothing. There was no competition. There was no baseball. There was nothing. It was morning soccer. Everyone was watching it. It was on big broadcast TV, and it was perfect. And it was a great match. 1-1 PK awarded for PSG, and then they win the thing in PKs overall to win the Champions League. That I think is a great appetizer to get people excited for the World Cup. Look, every time the World Cup comes around, people act like they're interested and they act like they care. But the fact that this thing is in America and Canada and Mexico, the time zone situation is pretty big. We don't have to fight getting up in the middle of the night to watch Team USA play. And that I think is really significant. I'm going to tell you right now, if you are betting on Team USA to win the group, if you are betting on Team USA money-wise, I mean, bless you. Okay, I get it. I guess it's possible. I mean, Team USA just won their last friendly 3-2. I guess you could say it's possible, but be careful. Spain's the odds-on favorite. The left-hand side of your screen, the odds are from Betcris, Arizona. On the right, it's BetMGM. 2 different books, but similar numbers, right? Similar to both. Spain, France, England at Betcris, Arizona. Portugal, as you heard Adam Bjorn say, big liability on Portugal at 8 and 9-1. Brazil 9-1. Argentina 9-1. Germany at 16-1 to win the World Cup. I know people want to bet America. I know people want to bet the improbable. The Team USA, after all this time, they're finally going to live up to the hype and they're finally going to win or get out of the out of the group stage to the knockout stage to get a W. Okay. I mean, Team USA, if they win their group or come in second and get into the knockout round, that basically is as good as you could expect for Team USA. Them getting beat in all 3 of their games wouldn't stun me either. And we'll talk about all of the disappointment and all of the hype and the buildup that this is supposed to be the thing for Team USA. We just haven't built a pipeline of talent the way you would think for this sport. It's a hand-foot coordination sport. It's the only sport that has a hand-foot coordination, and we don't do it because our kids don't play any sport like it. So when you play tennis, it helps in baseball. You play baseball, it can help with football. You play football, it can help with wrestling. You have wrestling, it can help with boxing. With boxing, it can help with MMA. Do you get my point? It's all, you can have this string together. Soccer is unlike any of them, right? It's a continuous game like hockey, but hockey is hand-eye. Most of the sports that we excel in America are hand-eye coordinated games. And so you can be a basketball player, you can be a baseball player, you can be a golfer, all hand-eye coordination. It's all hand-eye hitting the ball with your hand, hitting the puck with your hand, right? Soccer is unlike any other sport. And that's the problem because you have to play it all the time. You have to be working on it all the time. And that doesn't happen. In this country, it doesn't happen. Kids don't grab a ball and say, let's go kick a ball around, right? What's the moment that everybody talks about with, let's take a movie like Field of Dreams. What's the scene, right? Hey, Dad, want to have a catch? They're not out there kicking the soccer ball around. They're out there throwing the ball back and forth. That's what we do. We throw things. We don't kick things. We throw things. And so that's just the problem. We don't do this. we don't do this. This is not how we play. So every time this comes around, people start betting it like, okay, we are a nation of 400 million people. Like, why aren't we good at this sport? It's an awesome question. And it really comes down to the fact that once you turn like 11, everyone stops playing soccer, right? I mean, at the high level, I was the best at soccer. That was the sport that I was recruited to play in college. I hated it. I didn't want to be a soccer player. I was just good at it. I hated that I was good at it because I could run like the wind. I could run. I could jump. I played physical. I wasn't afraid of contact. I had a big leg. Like I had all the things you'd want for soccer. I didn't like it, but I played it. I played it for 4 years on varsity. I played it and it was like, crap, it's soccer season. Okay. I didn't like it, but so like that was my problem. I played elite level AAU. I traveled. Like I did all the things that you would want. I played, my team went to the state semifinals my junior and senior year. We lost to St. John's Prep. If you know that, in Danvers, Massachusetts. I hate St. John's Prep. I will hate St. John Preps for the rest of my life. We'll get to that topic a different day. What private school is playing in public school leagues. Hated that. But that's how I played. I mean, and I even stopped playing because I don't really like it. I wanted to play baseball and basketball. I just wasn't very good. I wasn't good enough at those sports to go and play in college. So whenever the World Cup comes around, we have this conversation and we're going to have it when we lose because the USA is going to lose in probably awful fashion when another country, probably like a country of like a quarter size of ours, kicks our ass because their best athletes are playing the sport, not ours. Our best athletes play other things, do other things. But I think it really does come down to hand-eye. Sports that Americans like, we like using our hands. We don't like using our feet. Why? I don't know. It's just the way that we are when it comes to that sport. And if you are betting this, bless you. Go ahead. Like, go ahead. But I think the teams on the left are far more worth your time and your money than the team leading the most bets for tickets and money to win their group. I think you'd be better off betting on somebody else than Team USA. And I fully understand that Americans are going to say, bet Team USA. Go ahead. Most likely it's a donation. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm going to be. If you guys are live, don't move. More to come here on the program. If you're on the replay on Sports Grid, thank you for being here. Our thanks to Adam Bjorn for joining us every week here on the program. Bonus time starts now. And look, just one more thing on this. Like, people are going to bet blindly on Team USA, and I will be right there cheering everybody on. Okay? Like, yay, let's go. But it's a donation. It's a donation. Uh-huh. If you're betting on Team USA, this is not like hockey, right? We can beat the Canadians in hockey. We got something for the world when it comes to hockey, right? That's a global game. We got something. Basketball's turned into a global game. We got something, right? I mean, baseball's turned into a global game. We got something, right? We all the global games, we got something except for soccer. We got nothing. Like we got nothing for the world when it comes to all of this. Let's talk some news of the industry. Kalshi did a good thing. This is a story that is one of those like, well, no shit. We've known this has been going on for a long period of time. George Santos is a guy that for, I don't know, the better part of the last 10 years, he's been a very weird politician, a very strange guy. Kalshi outed George Santos for betting on himself when it came to the State of the Union. The allegation is not that Santos bet on himself, it's that he bet no on himself. Where would he be at the State of the Union? And he bet no, that he would not be there, knowing he would not be there. This is bad. I mean, this is a guy who has done all sorts of really crooked things, but he is doing what Kalshi and prediction markets allow. When you put up a stupid market where one person can dictate the entire market, you allow him to be the trader, you allow him to be the source, and you allow that person to have the outcome. Kalshi identified this guy as an insider trader, saying, hey, feds, take a look at this guy. Look what he did. The federal government's not stupid, but you shouldn't be able to bet on yourself with prediction markets. You shouldn't be able to do this. And this is not what the CFTC should be doing. This is not what the federal government should be investigating. But because we can do this stupid stuff, this is what happens, where you're going to have a guy who gets outed. It's not insider trading, but Kalshi gets to play it off like they're the good guy here of like, yay, we stopped this guy. It's just stupid that Kalshi can build a market like this and we can take bets on who is going to appear at the State of the Union and who is not. Like, these are things that we should not be gambling on. This is stupid. And so this story is just another indication of just how asleep at the wheel the CFTC and the Congress, how they are when it comes to prediction markets, because it's the wild, wild west in a really bad way. So while we're going to vilify and demonize baseball pitchers and NBA players, we got guys who are former politicians who are snake oil salesmen and liars and whatnot, who are out here making money in the prediction marketplace because these are stupid markets to put this thing up. But I mean, Santos is just doing what you would do, right? If somebody said, Tom, I'm going to bet that you're not going to go, or you're going to go and get your mail tomorrow at 9:30. That's what I'm going to bet. Tom comes in and says, I'm going to bet no, that Tom is not going to go get his mail at 9:30. Tom went and got the mail at 10. So Tom gets to collect on the no because Tom is the one that controls when Tom goes to get the mail. What are we doing? Like, this is so simple and so easy. A child could figure it out. But this is what we're allowing. And so we're allowing, Kalshi to ride in and be like, oh, George Santos is a bad guy. We're IDing George Santos. Really? You're the morons that put the market up. What are you doing? It's stupid to do that. Like, again, I think the average human would do that. If you're dumb enough to put that up, I think the average human would be like, well, if you're going to take a market as to what I'm going to do, I can just bet no and then not do it. It's the same thing that happened with prop bets, right? Hey, I'm going to bet you to go over 10.5 rebounds. Well, okay, I'm going to walk out. And when I have 8 rebounds, I'm going to walk out and not play anymore. So then I'm going to bet the no. I'm not getting 10.5 rebounds because I'm not going to get 10.5 rebounds. I can control the negative. I can't control the positive. And I'm going to bet on myself, or I'm going to tell some bookie, some guy, some gambler, right? I mean, that's what the entire Jonte Porter story is all about, was like that. So this like wild, wild west shit that's going on is really, really stupid. I mean, it's really, really stupid that we allow this stuff to be bet on. And now Kalshi gets to ride in on their white horse and say, we've stopped George Santos. This is inappropriate betting. We've caught a criminal mastermind. Really? You guys are the idiots that put the market up. How about you don't put the market up? How about that? Don't take bets on stupid things, and we don't have this problem. Anybody in Congress want to pay attention? Anybody? Yikes. Let's make some real bets. All right, Just the Picks being brought to you by the Betting Pros Prop Bet Cheat Sheet. You can download the Betting Pros app and go and search the Prop Bet Cheat Sheet for tonight's NBA game, or go to bettingpros.com/NBA props for what will happen coming up here tonight. I'm 0-2 in baseball this week for the prop bet of the day. Hopefully we'll get one right. We're going to basketball today. Hopefully we'll get one right. But I got Spurs in the first half. I concur with the rust factor for the Knicks. I just think you're going to walk into a buzzsaw here early. The game may go differently, but in the first half, I really like San Antonio to come out on fire, use the home crowd, use the environment. I think the Knicks are going to be soft early. They're going to be cold early. And I think the Spurs, even though the Knicks destroyed the Sixers when they had a similar situation, when they had a layoff and then they destroyed Philadelphia because Philly went 7 games and the Knicks were sitting there waiting, and they killed Philadelphia. They killed Cleveland. They've done well in game ones with time off. I just think it's different in the NBA Finals with Wemby on the court. It's going to take him a half to get used to it. Spurs in the first half. I like the Spurs for the game. I think this is a game that's going to be won by San Antonio. I want this for a variety of reasons. As I said, I've got the 15-1 ticket on the Spurs to win it all. So if the Spurs do wind up winning game 1, I should get a great price on the Knicks to win the series, and I will bet that to hedge off of it. I do think the chances of this series going 7 is high. I know I have friends of mine who believe this is 4-1 Knicks. I got people telling me that this is quick. This is 4-1 Knicks or maybe 4-2 Knicks, but the matchups are so much better for New York, and offensively they're going to put Wemby into just a world of hurt, and they're going to get him in foul trouble, and they're going to just isolate him and really make it difficult. They're going to take advantage of the youth, and Mike Brown's game plan is going to be great. Maybe, okay? Knicks 2-1 this year against San Antonio, but they haven't played in a while. And this is a different type of Knicks team, Spurs team than what the Knicks played previously. At least in game 1, give me the Spurs, and then I'll bet the Knicks if the Spurs do win game 1. We mentioned the Trend Center app. Trend of the day is Philly's money line. I'm going to go run line. I'm not going to lay the heavy juice, but Christopher Sanchez has been very good at home on the run line as well. He's been dominant. So against the Padres today, I'm going run line with the Phillies, just minus 105 on that. And Ohtani has been a machine to the under. And I get it that Zach Gallen hasn't at times been great, but he's been very good at home this year. And so it's Ohtani against Gallen. The number's 9. I'm surprised. Now, this comes down to the bullpen for the Dodgers to get after the bullpen for the Diamondbacks, where they may pour on some runs. But the run support for Ohtani has been pretty bad. Okay, we're talking like 3, 4, 5 runs. That's it for the Dodgers for Ohtani. It's not like they're scoring 9 runs themselves. So that could happen. I'm not saying it can't. But with Ohtani on the mound in his .83 ERA and Gallen, who has an ERA at 3, hopefully Gallen gets in the 7th inning, holds the Dodger bats down, and we get like a 4-2 final, and we go under 9 for Dodgers and D-backs here for tonight. Prop bet of the day. All right, I need one of these, man. Prop of the day, 0-2 so far on the week, both with baseball, both losers. Let's go to basketball. Julian Champagnie, over 15.5 points and rebounds. Remember, in a game this year, Champagnie hit 11 threes against the Knicks. 11. Now, that game was a while ago. That was on New Year's Eve. But still, they've decided to leave him open at times. If they do that, he could really make them pay. 20 points in his last game up against OKC, had 6 rebounds. 26 flew over this number, 15.5. In the game against the Thunder in game 6, it was 15.5, 10 points and 6 boards. Went over. Against the Thunder in game number 5, it was 14.5. He wound up with 22 points and 8 rebounds. The rebound number is phenomenal because we just need him to get 10 points. Get 10 points, 6 boards, and we're good. He's going to take a ton of shots. I mean, we know volume is going to be. He took 10 threes against OKC in game 7, 6, 8, 5, 2, 8, and 11 in that series. If he takes 10 threes coming up here for tonight, he's going over that number. 15.5 points and rebounds for the Spurs. It's kind of all in here on Julian Champagnie and all in on the Spurs coming up here for tonight. I don't know what the hell that was, AP. Mike Brown singing Who Let the Dogs Out? That was so weird. That was so freaking weird on that. I don't know. I don't know what he was doing yesterday. That was strange all the way around. That was very, very strange. But yes, Mike Brown did wind up doing that. Favorite thing about today? Favorite thing about today is that we've gotten here to the NBA Finals, and we now are into a rhythm that is going to take us until I go to Florida. And the third week of the month is going to be a little bit of a different spin because we are going, my daughter's heading to surf camp. And so it's going to be a different situation. We're going to go down to Florida for a week, and I'm going to be doing the show not live. It's going to air at 1 p.m., but the show's not going to air live. But there's going to be a rhythm here of NBA Finals, NHL Stanley Cup Finals. Game 1 last night, Game 1 tonight. Game 2 tonight, tomorrow night, Game 2 on Friday. Then next week, same situation, depending on how long the series will be going. But we've got the weekend, we've got the Belmont on Saturday, and then we get into a ton next week. The World Cup begins next week. Then we get to the U.S. Open. It's Father's Day weekend next weekend. I mean, there's just a lot of things going on, a lot of interesting situations going on for sports in the month of June. We don't normally get this. This is a treat. I didn't talk about Major League Baseball because we have all the Major League Baseball games going on. But there's just so much to bet on and so much to watch and so much to be a part of. We normally get like a time to shut it off and kind of like get away from sports for a while. Nope, not this summer. This summer is going to be heavy, big handle, big betting, a ton of excitement, a ton of information being out there and to digest and to watch and be a part of it. And then we get to football. Like after all that, we get to football. Then we get to college and professional football, which is going to be just awesome. So favorite thing about today is that we now are into this rhythm of Game 1 last night, Game 1 tonight, Game 2 tomorrow night, Game 2 on Friday for the NBA Finals. It's a very special and very fun time. This is cool. This is a very cool time for us as sports gamblers and sports fans to be a part of it and to watch it. I appreciate you guys being along for the ride. It's going to be a really, really fun month of June. Thanks to Adam Bjorn and Betcris Arizona, obviously title sponsor of this program. Tomorrow on the show, we will get to recap Game 1 of the finals. We'll preview Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals between Vegas and Carolina. I did tell you I was going to make an announcement, but that's going to happen next week. So stay tuned for that. Another football guest that will be joining us throughout the season. I'll do that. He is on vacation this week. So he was going to jump on. I was like, stay on vacation. This is not a big deal. We'll do it next week. So we'll bring that person on next week. So sorry to tease that. I got to push that back to next week. Hope to see you all back here tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern time, live replay on Sports Grid TV at 10 p.m. Pacific time every single day. Pushing the Odds with Matt Perrault returns tomorrow for a Thursday episode being brought to you by Betcris Arizona.